What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unscripted Access, episode number 130. You're here with your host, Nick McCandless. On this week's show, we have Bronson Fiore.
What is up?
And Anthony Ta.
Hi.
All right, back with another episode of Unscripted Access. Biggest release this week was The Witcher 3. Unfortunately, of the cast on this week's show, I am the only one who's played it. I know John's played it, but he's not on this week.
Hey.
Anthony has it downloaded. He hasn't played it yet.
I installed
You can blame the mailman for mine. Like that's fuck him.
In my defense, I installed the game and watched the opening intro video that they had, and I personally think the intro theme they had is pretty awesome. I told you you would like this franchise. Like I played a couple hours. I didn't
PC
play it yet.
version.
There are lots of games that have like some grand main theme orchestra song onto it, but so far, judging from the main menu and the theme, I was like, oh man, if only I could find 30 minutes to play that game tonight. And I toyed with the graphic settings, which I don't know what they do because the main menu doesn't really show you anything other than whoever that protagonist is just sitting there by the campfire.
Yeah, it's a lovely thing with a PC where you like don't even have to think about the settings. You like ultra max everything. Don't even have to think about it. Like that's especially with a game like The Witcher 3. Like it's so nice because I mean with me, I can run it 1080p max, and we'll talk about more of this on the raid, but I'll talk about briefly. I can run it 1080p max, 60 frames per second without a freaking issue. And my SOI setup could do more. I don't know if it can do 2K ultra maxed at 60, but it could probably come close.
So, by the way, Nick, Theo is buying a Titan X.
For real?
Yeah.
Well, if he's only buying one Titan X, my machine still outdoes his, though.
Oh, he intends to buy a second one, but, like, right?
Well, yeah, when he buys the second one, I'm screwed. But he's not a member of the staff, so I'll still have the top PC on the staff.
Oh, man. Yeah. I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm not going to be too technical about it, but Nick and I ran some numbers, and if Nick's system was at 100%, mine is about 55 to 65, depending what you're doing, and my laptop is about 8 to 12%.
And that means my laptop's like 25.
Your laptop's probably about 30.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this to like make your machine seem inferior, Anthony. I'm really not.
Look,
I was
aware.
reading up on that, and like those benchmarks are kind of old. So
well,
I mean,
it depends. It depends. Like Ice Storm, that is really an old benchmark, but Firestorm, that's a new one because that pushes the system really hard. Like, you know, the way I look at it is that I feel like these benchmarks they're not exactly best representation because, for example, if you looked at my laptop, there's no way it can play any fancy high-end game on any good setting because the graphics chip's going to cripple everything, even though supposedly my laptop does really well in the physics test because it has an actual good processor. Whereas on my desktop, it actually does have a good processor and a good video card, so it's more of a well-rounded machine. It's just that it kind of gets a little hopeless during physics. So, you know, yeah, the benchmark's a little but
yeah, but
you
kind of
need a well-rounded machine too.
Right.
But
yeah, because that's the other thing. Like with these, the thing is with these benchmarks, they aren't like, for example, with like the newest, they don't take advantage of like the newest processors and stuff like that. Like when this is really like the raid talk, so I'm gonna make this really quick. But
yeah, let's just keep it layman style.
Yeah, when they come out with like the test for DirectX 12, it's probably going to be more representative because that's going to be like actually utilizing all aspects of the hardware. So we should run the benchmarks again when Windows 10 comes out and there's DirectX 12 benchmarks. That'll be a good test.
That's actually something there's something I'm actually really curious about as someone who's currently on an Alienware laptop for DirectX 12. So they have all this like fucking custom Alienware software and a custom Alienware BIOS. Like, what the fuck is gonna happen there? Is like Alienware gonna fucking put that out? A custom version for
Well, it's not. You still have an operating system though.
Oh,
and that's where DirectX 12 comes in.
Yeah, I know. But I am saying that like I like being able to fine tune everything in the BIOS and shit. Like I get overclock from the fucking BIOS.
Oh no! Oh, I see what you're saying. No. So DirectX 12, it's all about giving access to the developers, not you.
Oh, I know. No. Okay, no. Like I have to stay on Windows 7 until Alienware puts out like their version of this Windows 10
really?
thing. Like that's what I'm assuming. Like I am stuck there.
If Alienware is smart and they don't want to piss their customers off, they're gonna have that shit ready the same day. Because they obviously have early access.
Knowing PC makers, man, if there's one thing about PCs is sometimes it's
but what you gotta understand though is this is DirectX 12. Like it's not like this is just a new operating system. Like this, the big thing, like DirectX 12 is literally supposed to change PC gaming. Like all these developers are saying that. And for Alienware, who is a gaming PC company, if they don't have that ready, then they're going to lose a lot of customers. Because there's going to be people that are like, oh, I want a new machine. Oh, well, we're not selling machines with Windows 10 yet. And people are like, fuck Alienware, I'm going to Origin PC.
They'll have machines. No, they'll have machines ready. It's just that the old machines is what you're worried about. Because, like, I'm pretty sure Dell has like Windows 10 and Alienware machines in development right now, today. They're testing it out right now. It's just that in the case of something like Bronze's machine, which is older, it has like special custom software in it to control stuff like the coloring of the keyboard and whatever else feature it has.
Overclocking, I don't have to open up hardware to overclock. I just go into settings.
Got it.
Overclock.
So, you know, like, I don't know how Alienware support works in the long term, because in the case of HP, they support your laptop for maybe a year, and then they just give up completely. So...
Yeah, that's HP, though. They're not a gaming PC company.
I know, but in the case of, like, Alienware, if they don't, like, have any special software for, like, Bronson's laptop to control all that coloring on his keyboard, or it makes his system run all funky because of all the special keys on it, then, oh man, that's gonna be a problem. And you can't just say, and you as Alienware can't just say, oh, we'll just buy a new system. We got DirectX 12 systems right here. Because you really... Yeah,
man, if they did that, like, you'd be like, oh, okay, well, next time I ever finance a laptop, I'm gonna get a Razer Blade or an Origin fucking 15-inch.
Or something from some company that actually cares about it in the long run.
Yeah, way to be.
Origin PC, their laptops, they can get crazy with them because they're super custom built, so you can actually get like desktop processors in their laptops.
Oh yeah, no, they have fucking great machines.
They'll be really heavy, but the heat would, like, the noise, the heat, and the thickness and weight of that thing. Like, I'm pretty sure if you bought something that huge, you probably don't care about the fact that it weighs like 15 pounds, but noise and heat. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a problem because
actually, Kind of Funny did a unboxing and a review of their 15-inch, and that thing is not super huge.
Is it a desktop processor, or is it a laptop?
Sure.
Because laptops, naturally, because a laptop because a laptop is a lot smaller, they can't just stick in some super high end thing. It's like you can't stuff a V8 in a mini car. So, I mean, you could, but it would be hopelessly impractical.
I think it's probably the same one. You know what? I will check. I forget. Like, I always forget that I can pause games. This is gonna be a weird tangent, but I've been playing a lot of games that you can't pause recently. So, like, I've been playing a single-player game right now, and I can pause it, and I'm like, oh, right, I can...
And someone always calls you and walks in when you play a game that you can't pause.
That's the fucking worst! It's the worst thing in the fucking universe.
I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV. I'm running a dungeon. Oh, no, here comes somebody who needs your help for something. Oh. Yeah, that always freaking happens. Or it happens during a cutscene you can't pause. Although although on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation days, that was actually pretty easy. You just hit the menu button and it just puts the
fucking guide button.
Yeah, and it puts the whole game on pause for you, even though the game itself won't let you. It's kind of cool.
Worst shit ever though is when a cutscene would keep going even with that. It was just the most annoying shit ever. Okay, but no, the specs on this thing are it's an i7 4710HQ, so laptop processor. It comes with a 970, and it weighs It weighs 4.3 pounds.
Yeah,
guys.
let's move along. We're going into raid territory.
Still 4.3 pounds. Like that's.
I do want to add that nowadays
light.
Laptop i7s are pretty close to desktop i7s. I noticed. Not as huge a gap as it used to be. So.
Yeah, like
anyways,
it's not like
Witcher.
back in the day.
Yeah, The Witcher. Away from the PC talk.
Okay, so The Witcher. I'm just gonna say a little bit. So, like I said, I just went to the menu. The main theme sounds pretty awesome. It's really sweet. And then I toyed with the graphic settings, and I can't help but notice this really stupid feature. So hey Bronson, you remember Tress Effects? Well, NVIDIA felt like it needed a competitor to that. It's called Hairworks.
Yeah, well,
I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, the fuck? Like, really?
Well, here's the thing.
Really?
Yeah, and here's the thing. It works kind of like what AMD did with Tress Effects. Now, here's the thing, though. I feel bad. Like, I seriously feel bad if you have an AMD machine for this game. And I'll tell you why. So, I encourage you guys, and we'll talk about this more on the raid, but look up Hairworks for The Witcher 3. Go to NVIDIA's website and look with Hairworks on, look at it with off. Completely freaking different, okay? Like, your monster's hair is like flat textures. With Hairworks, like, the hair is flowing and like all this crazy stuff. And even the people who CD Projekt Red, they're like, yeah, you can turn on Hairworks if you have an AMD card, but we don't recommend it because it will really hurt your performance. And that sucks because you look at it and it's such a drastic change. It's so huge. Like, even with Geralt, even his hair makes a huge difference. So it's like, yeah, like, these are the things that's like, and there's many games, like Project Cars, for example. I've been playing a lot of Project Cars. Absolutely love it. Anthony, you would love that game. You would absolutely love it.
Yeah, once I clear up some of my backlog, okay?
Yeah, Project Cars is freaking sweet. I love that game. Same thing with like Project Cars. Like, I don't know how the performance differs, but you're driving those like NVIDIA banners all in the game, and I'm like, I wonder which game this performs better on. Let me think about that one. No, it's like most of these companies work with NVIDIA. It's like, if you're gonna buy a card, like, yeah, like, technically with performance, you might be able to get better performance at a lower price with AMD, but the games are gonna be optimized better for NVIDIA. So it's like, at this point, I think it'd be stupid to go to AMD. Like, because, I mean, prime example here with The Witcher 3, you might have a high-end AMD rig, but you might not be able to run Hairworks, and it run well. As stupid as it is.
Well, I mean, yeah.
NVIDIA is so far ahead of AMD in the well, I would say so far ahead, but they're very much ahead of AMD in the graphics department. And yeah, AMD will have their games, but typically they're the lower. Like, yeah, AMD, I mean, with Battlefield, they had more AMD because that's when AMD was trying out their Mantle API. But
they also had Tomb Raider. Like, Tomb Raider was pretty
big.
That was a big one.
But most of the time, these companies are working with NVIDIA. Because, I mean, they do own a majority of the market share.
Dumb-ass hair software.
Hairworks.
Well, yeah, but you guys watch the comparison, you're like, yeah, I'm definitely going to want Hairworks on, for sure.
I'm just like...
I don't doubt that. I'm just saying that, like, I love dumb video card flow. And, like, even if this matters. Like, it's just super stupid.
I understand that hair is really important, but I don't think hair is going to make your review score any better, is the way I look at it. And also that, I literally sent a text to everybody when I found that setting in the game. I thought, really, developers? Really? This is the new frontier graphics. Hair and crying. And I say crying because I'm referring to the Square Enix demo that Nick showed me, in which they say, look, your sat scenes will now look more real. Because we all need to cry.
Guys, we're starting to hit the point of diminishing returns on graphics. Like, I am so far at the point... I'm at the point with games where, like I've said it before, I'll say it again. I enjoy seeing a technically impressive game. Like, Infamous last year looked great. That was a great game to look at. But, like, I'm playing Halo right now. This is in... You know, like, yeah, they ported it up to the 360. It's that 360 port of Halo 1 running at 60 frames. I'm like, this looks great. The game looks really good. I'm sorry, like, I would rather have them spend that fucking time on so many different like gameplay or art. Like go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, the thing about graphics is that it's getting to the point of diminished returns, but they keep, because at the end of the day, like I said, is the ability for people to cry more realistically and have real hair where every single strand has its own physics gonna make me like a game more? Well, it's certainly more impressive to show off, and it's like, oh good, this is what the new boundaries of tech is, but I highly doubt it's gonna do anything to make me say this game is cooler just because the hair looks more real.
Yeah, that's like during my review, this is what it would like. If I were reviewing that game on the PC, this is basically what it'd be. They have this new hair tech thing. It looks kind of neat. Like, don't really care all that much, but it's kind of cool. Like, that's basically what it would be.
I mean, I don't know what the next graphical frontier is, but currently it is giant land size, crying, and hair is what I'm figuring out right now. Because giant land size and draw distance is great, because once you have extra performance, why not make your world bigger? So, I really don't know. Like,
this is still like, we're kind of in raid territory here. So let's just talk about the game in general. So I'm the only one that's played it so far, and oh my god, like, one thing I will say, holy shit, the game looks. Now keep in mind, I am playing on a $3,000 PC. Oh my god. The game, it is the best looking game I've ever played to date. Oh my god. It is so impressive. It's ridiculous.
Now, that's a very good question.
So beyond impressive. Like, you can see why. It's not because, the specs are the way they are, not because this game is poorly optimized. It is that way because it's crazy how alive the game feels. Like, it's unbelievable how alive the game feels. The one thing is I played through The Witcher 2. I absolutely love the game. Witcher 3, they fixed so far every major issue I had with The Witcher 2. I love The Witcher 2. There wasn't many flaws, but my main problems with The Witcher 2 was as far as jumping, maneuvering. It was very stiff. It's like you had to get in the very perfect spot to jump on this ledge or jump down, or it was a pain. And I didn't like the movement of Geralt, who's the protagonist in the game. The Witcher 3, he moves a lot faster, which I like. It's less stiff. As far as maneuvering, jumping, maneuvers and controls very, very well. Yeah. And then also they added horses. Which you may be like, oh, adding horses, who cares? It's freaking awesome. Just adding the horse mechanic, because now, I was like, if you have to go far distance, you can get there so much faster on a horse because you can sprint. And you can also combat on your horse. So you can go around like slicing beasts while you're on your horse. And then there's like a couple other elements. Like, I'm not that far into the game. I'm only like an hour or two when I streamed it last night. I'm going to be streaming it tomorrow, which is actually going to be behind for you guys. It'll be in the past. But I'll probably be streaming it next week as well. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, look for me to be streaming. What
time are you going to be streaming?
Okay, 7 p.m. Pacific, Bronson. It's the same every single week.
Okay, well, hey, man, I'm sorry. Some of us don't have a set schedule, so, like...
Well, yeah, but mine is, with me, if I'm not... That's why, like, if it's a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and I'm not able to stream at 7, I text you guys.
Alright, well...
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 7 p.m., I'll be on Twitch unless I text you guys, letting you guys know otherwise.
Well, also for our fans to know, so...
Yes, for everyone else.
We'll be... Yeah, we'll probably be getting... the Super Senpai Bros will probably be getting on either before you or after you with The Last of Us. We are about to hit winter. So...
Winter's coming, y'all. Only on the Super Senpai Brothers.
Winter is coming. Yep. That Let's Play is going really quickly, because, like, you know, that game is relatively short.
Oh, yeah, you can get through that pretty fast.
Especially when you have both players who know what the fuck they're doing.
But I mean, going back to The Witcher 3, I mean, that as soon as I took control of Geralt, I was like, yes, like it was like hell yes, because I had a good feeling that Witcher 3 is going to be amazing. I mean, it's getting perfect scores across the board, one outlet said it's like the best game to come out in the past 10 years, and it was a big outlet, you know? So it's like, yes. So when I actually got in Control, I'm like, oh my god, this game feels so much better than The Witcher 2. Like, so much better.
You just plugged in your PlayStation 4 controller and it sets everything for you, right? Or do you have to actually manually configure it?
So,
or do you use an Xbox One controller?
You can use Xbox, or you can download software to where it tricks the computer into thinking your PlayStation 4 is an Xbox One controller. Because I mean, these controllers are all the same. They call their buttons different things. But
when I looked at game controllers, in the settings, they basically showed an Xbox One controller. So I'm like, so the PlayStation controller is not going to work, right? Or do you have to like manually configure everything so it does work?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I noticed in the game.
Well, no, yeah, that's the nice thing about The Witcher 3 is it's like, okay, gamepad detected, control settings updated. It says
like
that.
Keyboard and mouse. It said that. I'm like, ooh, that's pretty smart there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it just, oh my gosh, it feels so much better than The Witcher 2. It's like it makes The Witcher 2 feel like it's awful. The combat freaking amazing. Like I said, I'm very early in the game, but it's very well put together. A drastic change over The Witcher 2, which came out, I think it's like 4 years ago now. So like I said, I'm not far into the game, but from what I've seen so far, amazing. I've watched videos online of like PC Ultra compared to PlayStation 4, and I'm actually very impressed with what CD Projekt Red did. Bronson, you'll have to let us know when you get it. But it looks good. I mean, it doesn't look like Ultra, but I'm very surprised at how well they're able to get it to look on the PlayStation 4. I mean, even on the consoles, this is maybe the best looking game.
You look at what they did with The Witcher 2 on 360. It doesn't surprise me. These are a very good team. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm very curious I'm now curious how good this game probably looks on a PlayStation 4, because a similar game that also spent a huge amount of time developing environments for was Dragon Age Inquisition, and that game's environment it's really good.
Looked like shit.
No, Dragon Age Inquisition on PlayStation 4. I think that game, the original Dragon Age.
All the brown.
Man, all the brown and styrofoam trees. But in Inquisition, they spent a lot of time in the environments, and there's one thing about that game that's really good. It's that they spent a lot of time making the environments look really awesome. So I'm really interested in seeing how The Witcher 4 compares to that.
It's a shame that Dragon Age didn't play as good as it looked.
Yeah, it's a shame its story is not as good as it looks.
Man, it's almost like that shouldn't have been Game of the Year. Like,
I know,
there's
right?
This other game on the Wii U that was really great and one of the best in the genre. Yeah,
Wii U. Was it made by?
It's called these people called Platinum Games. It's a sequel. It's really weird.
Sequel?
Yeah, it's a sequel to Bayonetta. It's Bayonetta 2. That was the best fucking game last year.
What's an Xbox 360 and PS3 sequel doing on a Wii?
Fuck, dude. Nintendo was like, we'll publish this game, and Sega was like, sure, we like money. So that's how that happened. Look, here's the thing. If the argument was like Smash last year, if people want to be like Smash Brothers is Game of the Year, fuck you, I would be like, okay, I see how you could think that. I disagree, but I'm okay with putting that as Game of the Year. And like same thing with pretty much every other game on that list, besides like maybe Shadow of Light and maybe Shadows of Mordor, and even then I see why people like Shadows of Mordor. But like after playing Dragon Age, I don't think I've ever been like just more mad at a Game of the Year disagreement. Like just so like didn't play it, didn't get around to it before the Game of the Year awards. Trusted the judgment of John and Bremen, played that game, and was just the most disappointed. Like, that game was getting hyped. I was like, oh, it's like Mass Effect, where even if you hate this genre of games, you will enjoy this game. And I was like, okay.
I wouldn't say that. I think Dragon Age is overrated. Like, here's the thing: when you're talking about a game like The Witcher, like in the case of The Witcher 1 and 2, those were kind of more like more under the radar. I mean, they're not under the radar because
The Witcher 1 was super under the radar, but yeah,
and
Witcher,
The Witcher 2,
Witcher 2,
like The Witcher 1 and 2, they're not like the tops of their genre as far as name recognition and all that kind of stuff. So they don't actually suffer the same kind of expectation that BioWare has, because when you think BioWare, you have people like me who absolutely love their old stuff and think their new stuff is kind of and then you just end up being disappointed. Whereas The Witcher, you don't really have that, because it's just kind of like, well, you've got a smaller studio, they just happen to have a gigantic cash infusion this time around, and so you don't really expect a masterpiece, and you're probably going to come out surprised. Who knows? The Witcher could be one of the top games this year, right, guys? Right, Nick?
It could. Like, I don't doubt that.
It from, like I said, I'm not like that much into the game, but from what I played, it's very safe to say this game is going to end up pretty well ranked within my top 10 for the year. I will put it that way. It's pretty, unless the game just completely falls to shit the moment I touch the controller next, which probably isn't going to happen, because if that was going to happen, you'd probably hear about it all over the place, but everyone else is praising it. Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a pretty safe bet.
Like, I typically don't like Western RPGs, and I thought the second Witcher was pretty good. So if this is like that, then I'm not sure if it'll make my top 10 list, but I will probably have good things to say about it. Which, like, Anthony knows if I have good things to say about a Western RPG, it probably means something.
I think the only two you ever said is The Witcher 2, as you said, and Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, Mass Effect 2 was so fucking good.
And Mass Effect 3 was... It played well, at least. It played the best out of the games.
Yeah.
Story-wise,
Oblivion was great, though. That's another one.
Yeah, but you always put this little asterisk on Oblivion. Stockholm Syndrome may be in effect here.
That was like, I didn't have anything else to play for 6 months. So I was like, well, okay. Let's see if I like this.
Like, the Western RPG genre for me has just kind of fallen somewhat out of favor, because I used to be such a huge fan of that kind of stuff, because I'm like, yeah, Oblivion, and Mass Effect, and Dragon Age, and then there's Mass Effect 2, and oh, screw Fallout 3. I mean, I swear, Dragon Age Origins to you is what Fallout 3 is to me. I'm just like, I just don't get it, and I don't care, and you all are crazy.
I don't, yeah.
They're gonna announce Fallout 4, the world's gonna be, like, so hyped for it, like the next Taylor Swift song, and I'm just gonna be like, nope, I don't care, guys. I just don't understand Fallout.
I got in an argument with Brittany Parks over Twitter about the quality of Fallout 3. That was fun.
I liked Fallout 3. It was a good game. New Vegas was better, though.
That's what everyone keeps telling. Everyone's like, you should play New Vegas, and I'm like, you know what? I'll probably get it in a Steam sale, mod it so it's not broken, and then play it. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, Western RPGs, just for whatever reason, like, they don't click with me for a lot of reasons. A lot of it's how they, like, aren't focused enough, I guess. Like, they're very much on...
think about it. A Western RPG focus... Like, to me, what are the biggest selling points of a Western RPG? You've got a main story, but you also feel like you have an incentive to do side quests. Like, Mass Effect 2 is a great example, because it's like, yeah, you can just blast through the main story, but hey, you can get a squad member. Hey, you can do this little mission and this little mission. And in the case of Mass Effect 3, it actually did matter, because if you did your side missions, you actually had a slightly better chance of surviving in the end.
Like, Mass Effect 2 was a really good example. Like, and I think that's my problem, because in most games, I don't care about side missions. I really don't. Like, I won't. And that's why and most Western RPGs are just all focused around that. It's like, yeah, there's this story, but, like, here's what you really want to see is over here. And I go and I play them, and I'm like, wow, this is terrible. And everyone's like, did you do this side quest? Did you do this side quest? I'm like, no, because why isn't the regular part of the game good? And I go and I look at a game like the way you have to do that is you have to make it so the side quests are like an integral part of the game. Like, Mass Effect makes that, like, very clear that this is an integral part of the game. Fallout does not. Fallout, it just kind of sets you free in the most boring world imaginable.
I got lost just trying to keep up with the main story and nothing else. I'm just like, where are you supposed to go? I'm just stepping on landmines everywhere and broke both my legs and no stim packs.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing about The Witcher 2 is I got constantly lost. I'm like, how the hell? Like, it shows you on the map where you need to go, but it's like, how the hell do I get there? With The Witcher 3, they make it a lot more obvious, and it's easier to figure out, okay, this is the direction I need to head. Like, so for example, like when you get on your horse and you're going like pretty far, in the map it actually shows like little steps on the little map in the corner where it shows you how you can get there. You know how like it's like
That's
GPS
great.
pretty much.
Like there's
It's like when The Witcher 2 didn't do that, and there was really time I spent like 30 minutes trying to figure out how to get somewhere to find out that, oh, I have to walk up this ledge over here. Oh, I have to go underground here. It was a pain in the ass.
If you want to talk about how maps have gone backwards, it's Oblivion to Skyrim. In Oblivion, the map was literally a paper map, and it put a giant arrow that says, go here, and you know that which major roads led you to that point. Whereas Skyrim, it was basically one gigantic cloud map, and it just said, go to High Hrothgar. It's way up there. And you're like, well, I don't know where all the roads are. And you just look at the mountain, it's like, there's no way I could vertically climb this mountain without glitching some stuff first. And then you find out you have to walk around the north end, and you hope that you took the right road, because sometimes there are two roads that look like they're going in different directions, and then you're just like, well, now what? Skyrim, I think, just had a really cruddy map, especially for considering how big Skyrim is, the fact that you can't get around that easily is just really stupid. But you can ride a dragon. Well, I sure as hell couldn't ride a dragon when I first bought that game, so there you go.
Man, like...
And if I did ride a dragon, the game would just crash because it's on the PS4. Sorry, PS3.
What Western RPGs, man, I'm just... I get why certain people like them, but, I look at, like, last year's Game of the Year debate, exact shit I'm talking about. I'm just like, why in the... Like, unless you are looking for a story, and even then there were better stories than Dragon Age, like, why would you choose this over a game like Bayonetta 2? Like, Bayonetta 2 is the best action-adventure game of that style. Like, not Zelda, but, like, God of War, Devil May Cry, Metal Gear Rising.
I think the problem is that Bayonetta and Dragon Age are just really different. For the kind of people who look for immersion and the story and the world to be immersed in, there's Dragon Age. For those looking for the excellent gameplay and style and finesse and all that kind of stuff, there's Bayonetta. That was one of the problems. They're just two really different games.
Yeah, and then you look
and
at
I said, one of the reasons why you play Western RPGs is kind of more for the imaginative factor. It's not really entirely about the gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that. I'm just not...
Like, you could slap a Mario face on Bayonetta, it'll still be fun. You try and slap a Call of Duty face on Dragon Age, it'll just completely not work.
Yeah,
like, in a game like Dragon Age, you kind of need a good story and art and setting, and things need to make sense in order for it to actually work, whereas in Bayonetta, it's more of a gameplay kind of thing. Yeah, like, Bayonetta doesn't even have a good story. It's just some pretty cheesy thingy that they just came up with that just happens to work.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I am saying that... Oh, man, just...
But I do agree that Dragon Age Inquisition is overrated.
How that game won so many fucking Game of the Years is astounding to me. Like, it is utterly fucking astounding. Especially because last year had a lot of really good fucking games. Like, Shovel Knight was a great game. Bayonetta, Smash, like Infamous, Shadow of Mordor, and I'm like, this is what you pick. Like, this is what so many people picked, and like I said, I'm not typically fond of Western RPGs. They're not a genre that I typically enjoy, but like, even then, if it's a genre I don't enjoy, I can be like, yeah, okay, that game was great, I just don't like it. Like, I don't even see that about that game. Like, I'm like, I can understand why people liked the first Dragon Age. I get that. I don't get, why people are like, Inquisition is the shit. I'm like, but I guess everyone's different, man.
Yeah, like I said, it really depends on your gaming preferences, but like I'm a Western RPG kind of guy, or used to be, and I looked at Dragon Age. There's like so many side quests, and I'm just like, I feel like this is just a bunch of. I mean, some of it makes sense, but I feel like I'm walking forever. I don't really feel like I'm on an adventure. Like Bremen pointed out in Dragon's Dogma, you walked forever. But that's because the entire world was literally the entire world. From one point, you can walk all the way to the other point, and it wouldn't matter. In Dragon Age, everything's separated into zones, and it just... I don't know, everything just kind of felt a little too big. Yeah. But yeah, The Witcher. Lots and lots of area. Did they actually give a big count on the official size of The Witcher 3?
I don't. They may have. I don't know if they did or not. But the thing is that the fact that you have the horse, and the horse, I mean, you can get that horse to go really fast, I will say.
Look at my horse. My horse is amazing.
We got lots of horsepower, guys.
Ha! Oh, that was terrible.
The one thing I will say, though, that I really do appreciate from also The Witcher 3 is it's like The Witcher 2. A lot of areas, like you're walking from one village to the next, and it just feels dead. You're just walking, and there's like trees, and it's like cool trees. But this one, you actually see like villagers actually like walking like between the villages, like transporting stuff. There's like citizens everywhere. There's like it's like it just feels super alive.
Do you know what's
like,
crazy?
It feels like you're actually in a real area.
Do you know what's kind of crazy is that you can actually control how many people there are, because that's actually a graphical setting in the game on the PC version. You can control how many people in the background.
Well, yeah, that's probably why. But I mean, at least on the I can't guarantee the console version, but as far as the PC version goes, I mean, there's a lot of non-player NPCs in that game. So applaud them on that. So I'm sure we'll talk about more about it next week when everyone's kind of had a chance to play it. But let's move along to the news. Does that sound good for everyone? I think so.
News.
So, Bloodborne. That's a game that came out and was pretty good.
My roommate beat that game the other day, and I'm well on my way. That game is fucking awesome. It's so good. Anyway, go ahead.
Cool. So Shuhei Yoshida has confirmed that a Bloodborne expansion is coming.
Oh dear God.
He said, quote, "So I've been asked by many people if we are making DLC for Bloodborne. I can say an expansion is coming. More info later this year." So more info later this year makes it sound like it's probably not going to be announced at E3. Usually they say like more info coming soon. I mean, it could be announced at E3.
It depends on what they have to show. It may not be announced
to like later in the year. But yeah, for Bloodborne fans, an expansion's coming out.
Bloodborne is an amazing game. It's one of the best games of the year so far. It's probably my favorite of the year so far. And that's good for it. I feel sorry for Ray, though, because, like, dude's already thrown 50 hours at that game. And, yeah. And he's going to go through it again to get the secret ending.
50 hours? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm actually working on my playthrough. I'm like 25, and I'm going for the secret ending on my first try. One cool thing is I got to see what happens when you get, like, a weapon for New Game Plus. The New Game Plus is a scythe, and it is so fucking awesome. It is a awesome weapon. Like, that game is worth playing again on New Game Plus, literally to use the scythe. It is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played it yet. I hope to get my hands on it sometime later this year, but we'll see. Anthony, you haven't played it either, have you?
Nope. I mean, I can play it if someone could use SharePlay, which nobody knows about still. SharePlay would be nice. I could try Bloodborne.
I mean, like, once Ray
Bronson can hook it up.
Believe it or not, actually, believe it or not, I can.
Once I'm done with it, Anthony, I'll just let you borrow it. Like, that's... Yeah.
That works too, but I feel more like I'm just going to try it for 30 minutes. But yeah, SharePlay doesn't actually work for everything, because like the Final Fantasy 15 demo they put out, I couldn't I couldn't play it.
Also,
Brendan tried to share play it to me and it didn't work.
Let me just tell everyone here that, like, Anthony, go into Bloodborne when, like, that's a very much a thinking man's game. Like, you cannot go into that game being like, I'm just gonna fucking wheel through this. Like, that is a game that you need to respect it or it'll hurt you.
So it's Murphy in a game.
Respect the game.
It's basically Murphy's Law in a game.
Yeah, like, that game, like, the way I've been playing it is, I have to be in a certain mood to play that game. And it's because I know that I'm going to die quite a bit on the way to learning the way certain enemies fight and the way certain things work. I think everything is completely fair, and that's actually one thing I really like about it. But it is very much one of those cases of this game has a very high learning curve with a lot of shit for you to learn, and getting there at times can be rough. One thing I can say is because you can go back to older areas and grind, if you feel you're underleveled, you can always get more powerful, and I really liked that. I don't know, Nick. What are your questions about Bloodborne? Because I know that.
Like, I haven't played any of the Dark Souls, Demon Souls. I don't know anything about it. I mean, the one thing is with me is, like, with my... I know I can get pretty easily irritated with the game. Like, if I'm not progressing and I'm constantly dying, I'm going to get irritated pretty quick because I don't get a chance to play all the games I want to play. So I don't have the time to spend on a game that I'm just not progressing through. I mean, like I said, maybe if I get some time later in the year, I'll check it out. I at least want to check it out and play it a little bit. I don't know about beating it, especially hearing how long it takes to beat that game. I would say
like a minimum. Like, I would say the shortest playthrough I've seen from someone who wasn't a speedrunner is like 20 hours.
Yeah, and that's someone who probably wouldn't die as much as I would. So probably 25, 30 hours of me being pretty frustrated at times doesn't sound too great to me. I mean, for like people who have a lot of time to really dive into it, sure, but it's like, okay, I'm playing The Witcher, I'm playing Project Cars, soon I'm gonna be playing Batman. It's like,
oh god, Batman's gonna fucking steal my life, and I'm never giving it back.
Yeah, so it's like Bloodborne. I mean, I don't know. Maybe after Batman, I don't think anything comes out for a while. So maybe after Batman, I'll try it out. But I don't know. Maybe.
Man, I have such a backlog I have to get through. I'm trying to fight through Majora's Mask and find the frickin' Pirate Fortress. And it's like, oh, The Witcher's coming out. Oh, look, Batman just came out. Oh, look, Final Fantasy Heavensward just came out. Oh, look, backlog. And that's before I even, like, start playing Project Cars. Woo. Yeah, there's a lot to do. Tangent, sorry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, for fans of Bloodborne, that's great. Great.
Big success for Sony. Did you know, like, Sony, this actually is a minor news story, but Sony was like, we're surprised how well Bloodborne did.
Well, yeah, I mean, Bloodborne wasn't like your big marketable. I mean, it was marketable. It wasn't your big, like, Bloodborne didn't have a lot of hype behind it. It really didn't. It came out, it was just word of mouth.
It had hype amongst hardcore gamers. That's about it. Like the most hardcore gamers is who were the people excited for that game. And then those people, like, spoke really highly of it. And, like, I played it, and my biggest problem with the Souls games is always, like, I like these games, but the combat always feels really slow and shitty, and they fix that. Like, it's very fast. It's all about dodging. There is no more blocking. Like, there's one shield in the game, and they basically just call you a pansy in the text for it. It's a joke item. Oh. So it's, like, all about dodging and attacking, which, in my opinion, makes for a more dynamic game. Like that's my opinion on it, though.
Yeah, like I said, I might give it a chance. We'll see. Cool. Moving along to other news. 4K gaming sounds pretty right. Now, I'm not going down the PC path, so calm down, guys. But 4K gaming sounds pretty great, right? That's what got me to turn crazy and build a high-end gaming PC. Well, a lot of us, and even I was like, yeah, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox, whatever they call it, those are going to be the 4K gaming consoles. I mean, they have to be. If you really think about it, 4K TVs are becoming super affordable. 4K gaming is already a thing. So we're talking about 6-7 years from now, technology's gotten much cheaper. Technology's advanced. Has to be 4K. Well, an ex-Naughty Dog developer who went on to create Filmic Worlds, I don't know what they've done, says otherwise. When asked about 4K gaming with the consoles, he says that it will take another 2 console cycles before CG level visuals at 4K could be made possible. I have a good answer for you. My guess would be longer than you think. 1 more console generation seems too quick. Maybe in 2 more generations. That would be PlayStation 6 and the 5th gen Xbox. And we would need to render in 4K, then add another generation, which puts PlayStation 7 and 6th gen Xbox. It'll be a while. I don't know if I agree with this.
I think I could see it because, like, when the PS3 came out and the 360, it smoked the PCs. Like unless you had like a dual core, what at the time was a dual core PC, which was insane at the time, and you had a bunch of other crazy shit in your machine, chances were the 360 was more powerful than what you were running. This gen wasn't really the case. Like if you were running like a 780 when these consoles came out, you didn't really like upgrade your graphics card to like compete. And I think it's because they have to keep consoles at a lower cost. That's part of it. And they can't do these goddamn custom GPUs and CPUs. So they have to do APUs, which that reduces the overall power, and it's just general stuff like that. And then, like I said, the diminishing returns on graphics. Like, yeah, we see graphical jumps. Like seeing Infamous last year, The Witcher this year, games like that. Like, I'm very impressed with a lot of those. But, I'm very impressed with a lot of those. But none of it has been that jump from like, oh, here's Ocarina of Time to here's fucking Twilight Princess. Or here's, SD to HD. And of course, the biggest one is 3D to, or 2D to 3D. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think that the diminishing returns along with the cost factor, I can see it happening. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I could definitely see where he is coming from.
Yeah, 4K... How do I put this?
Because right now, 4K is a very much a luxury feature.
It is a very...
Well, right, but... Yeah, that's the thing, though. Like, I have a hard time believing it, because it's like, yes, it's a luxury feature right now, but it's just hard to... If we go... That'll be 3 console generation cycles that were stuck at 1080p. And, like I said, the next consoles, we're talking about 2020, probably, when the next consoles come out. Like, 4K gaming's already a thing. It's happening right now.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that makes me want to
like if you look
challenge
at,
the statement.
But if you look at like the PlayStation 4 when it came out, the PlayStation 4 was more powerful than the highest end PC of 6 years before that time. So I have a hard time thinking, like, take my machine, for example. It can do 4K with some games. I have a hard time believing that in 6 years, the PlayStation 5 isn't going to be at least on equal power terms with my current PC.
I also would imagine that new graphical APIs, hint, hint, DirectX 12, hint, hint, would make it actually easier to do 4K because you have more performance overhead to actually use it. Like I imagine there'd be like some code or related stuff to make 4K more feasible in the future. So yeah, it's like, so when's the next consoles coming? Because if it's like 5 years from now, in the year 2020, holiday season 2020, I could kind of see it happening. But one of the things that make me kind of believe this guy's statement is you have games like Final Fantasy 15 that are not going to even run on full 1080p because of all the graphical effects. Sunset Overdrive didn't run at full 1080p either. So
And here's the thing,
and
like,
I get it. Like
I look
PC
at
people,
those
they
games.
laugh at game consoles because they can't run all those graphical features at 1080p, and these are supposedly 1080p native game consoles. But yeah, Final Fantasy 15, Sunset Overdrive, they don't run at full 1080p resolution.
And here's the thing about that too. I don't like those games. Both looked really great, and I had no problem them like. The fucking being 960p did not affect my enjoyment of Sunset Overdrive whatsoever. If that game was running at 30 instead of 60, however, that would have heavily affected my enjoyment of that game.
Yeah,
So,
like I guess the concern is when you have something like the 360 version of Final Fantasy 13, you could really tell that they had to degrade it. Granted, that was a PS3 game that they actually had to downgrade a bit to work on the 360, and the fact that it had to sit on 3 DVDs. Oh man, that was fun.
Yeah.
Imagine installing that to your hard drive. Good luck.
Yeah, forget about that.
But yeah, by 2020, I think 4K is possible. It might not be the prettiest 4K because you got to remember this is. I mean, if I were to, like I said, if I were to look at the PS4 and Xbox One really crudely, they essentially just have optimized laptop parts. That's basically what it is. I mean, like, you're not... yeah, granted, you've got no overhead and you don't have to worry about Windows or any of that kind of stuff, but they're basically laptop parts. They're just custom laptop parts. Because my desktop computer soaks up like maybe 600 watts of electricity, whereas my PS4 only does like soaks up like maybe 200, maybe something like that. But yeah.
Yeah.
And if 4K is possible, I think it'll only look about average. Obviously, game consoles are never known for max settings unless it's like back in 2005 when it actually was the max settings kind of stuff. Which kind of actually brings me to this point I keep thinking a lot about. PC gaming has never really been peachy all the time. Just ask the late 2000s. Because the late 2000s, what did you have? You have mostly Windows Vista, which is really bloated and slow. DirectX 10 wasn't exactly the most amazing thing ever. DRM was continuing its reign and making just about everyone miserable, especially Ubisoft, where if you install a game in too many times or something like that, you can't use the CD key anymore, or whatever. And games for Windows Live sucked.
Oh god, games for Windows Live.
But you can have Halo 2 on PC. Yeah.
I find it funny that was the game they hyped to fucking sell games for Windows Live. Like, fucking Halo 2. This game that at the time was about to be 3 years old. The new Halo's coming out for fucking their console. But, man, do I want to play Halo 2 on this operating system that is brand new and super broken? That's my wish.
Is so, like, Vista, it was so broken at the time that if you had a high-end Windows XP computer, it was pretty low-end once you put Vista on it, because Vista was that bloated. And then by 2009, Microsoft realized they screwed up and took Vista, fixed it, and called it Windows 7. Because that's what Windows 7 is. That's what Vista should have been. And 8 is basically an amplified 7, which kind of is a love-hate kind of... It's a like-hate kind of thing. And then there's Windows 10. Which, later this year, maybe? Yeah, it's gonna come out this year. They say end of July,
yeah,
but we don't know. Could be delayed, but...
No,
yeah.
I don't know. I think Windows 10 will actually be pretty cool.
But yeah, 4K, I don't know. It probably will happen by 2020, but... It's probably
I just have a hard time thinking like 2020 consoles aren't going to be 4K. I'm sorry, I don't see that happening. Like I can see it being an option where it's like PS3 and 360 it was really big. Like PS4 and Xbox One, most of it's like, is it going to be 900p, 1080p? PS3 and 360 it was like, is it going to be 720p or 1080p? I can see it being a situation where it's an issue if we're doing game developers would choose, okay, we're doing 2K or 4K depending on the frame rates, how good the game's going to look, etc. I can see happening. Maybe not everything 4K, but at least like I said, on a 980 you can run a lot of games. at 2K maxed. So like you can't run The Witcher 3 2K max, but on 2980s you come pretty close. So I have a hard time seeing 6 years from now we're not at least doing that.
Like I said though, man, diminishing returns. Like look at the difference between like an 880, a 780, and a 980. Like yeah, there's a difference, but like it's not the most gigantic thing in the world. But once again, you know, like that could change. That shit all could change. Like that's the thing about
2K's. Yeah, 2K is not that much more than 1080. I'm sorry. Next step has to be 4K.
Double the resolution.
No, I'm just gonna say that I'm reading Wiki right now, so Wiki is not like the correct way of looking at it, but.
Well, yeah. So there's 1920 by 1080.
Yeah, 2048 by 1080.
If you multiply 1920 by 1080, and then you multiply that times 2. That gets you 2K. So it's the amount of pixels that are being pushed.
Digital Cinema Initiative's native resolution 2048 by 1080. That's not really much bigger.
Well, no, that's not 2K. So that's a wide screen.
That's 2.2 million pixels.
No, so it depends on like the aspect ratio. Like yeah, that's two times. Wait, what'd you say again?
2048 by 1080, and then at the bottom it's I don't even know how 2K works. 2560 by 1600 or something like that.
I'll tell you how it works. Okay, so with these games, I know because my machine I'm able to run high resolutions. I can even do DSR even though I don't have my 4K TV. So there's 1920 by 1080. The next step up from that is 2715 by 1527. That's 2K because that's the 16 by 9 aspect ratio. And if you multiply 1920 by 1080 and you multiply 2715 by 1527, you'll see that the one with 1527 is twice the amount of pixels as 1080. Then when you go up to 4K, it's like the 3000 something by like 2160 or something like that.
This is where TV tech starts to really hurt.
4096 by 2160.
This makes me really miss the days of like, man, I just plug a box in my TV and video games. I
can't figure out this thing because I'm reading granted it's Wiki, so this may not be entirely accurate. Wiki says 2K resolution is a generic term for display devices or content having horizontal resolution on the order of 2000 pixels, which could mean 5 different things according to this page.
Well, anyways, the way I look, so we'll say 1527p, whatever. But as far as I understand it, like I said, you time 1920 by 1080, and you time like 2715 by 1527. It's like almost exactly double the amount of pixels. So at least I think with the next consoles, they'll at least have like an option where some games will be 1527p 2K, or some of them can run in 4K. Like that's where it gets like super confusing, but I know that for mine, I can do 1080, 1527, and then like 2160. Those are the options.
I'm just
and they double as
because
you go up. So 1080 doubles to 1527, 1570 jumps up to 2160.
You know, reading 4K is like freaking building a PC all over again, except this is in TV talk, because the official definition of 4K is basically horizontal resolution of 4000 pixels, which could mean a gazillion things. I'm just like, holy crap, you gotta take it to aspect ratio into effect. YouTube can now support like 4K video, but it's 12.6 megapixels with aspect ratio 4:3, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on now. I'm lost. I'm so lost. Because 1080p, everyone knows what that is. Well, it's easy to figure out what that is.
Right.
It just says 4000 horizontal pixels, and I'm just like, that could mean a gazillion things. I could make a billboard light bar that's 4000 pixels across, and there you go. I got a 4K display, even though it's only like 300 pixels tall.
I go back to my point of, man, you want to know what's pretty great? When I bought an original Xbox or PS2 or GameCube or an N64, I plugged the power in, I plugged it into the TV, and that was it.
You remember the yellow plug?
Yeah, it was color-coded.
Composite.
If you were really a badass, you had component cables for like the 5 games that supported it on PS2 and Xbox.
Most GameCube games supported it.
Yeah, that was weird.
But you needed special plugs for that one. Thankfully, when the Wii came out, then you had component cables for the Wii. Actually, yeah, it looks weird. Yeah, if you were really fancy and needed that extra 5% component cables, go.
Yeah, like I look at like TV shopping now as someone who like I found the one. Sony has this 50-inch. It's a great TV, great set. Like that's the one I'm going with when I finally pick up that TV at the end of the year. But like, man. Like, do you remember when you buying a TV was like, I want this size of television, and then you bought that size of television?
Yeah.
Back
then, when you sold the TV, it was really kind of down to, okay, what kind of features do you want? Instead of now, it's like, I can't even figure out what is supposed to be considered a good TV because they show like such gigantically vibrant colors that are so vibrant that there's no way it could look like that in real life that I don't even know if that TV is considered good just because it can make the yellow the most perfect yellow of all yellows. I'm just like,
it's all
about the options, guys.
Yeah, man. It's like refresh rate, color types. Does this have motion flow? Does this have a game mode? Like, is it a smart TV? Does it do 3D?
I don't even use.
And then with 4K, you have to worry about your 4K TV supporting 60 hertz. That's great.
Like, I don't even use game mode on the Bravia downstairs. I just put everything on normal, shut off the motion flow because it looks really awkward in games. Like, maybe it looks kind of cool in the movies, but in games, it's really weird.
I remember. God, what was it? Like I remember when I got that TV that you see in the living room. It's in my mom's room. It's that Sony 3D one, and I think I played a grand total of maybe 4 games in 3D, and watched 2 movies. And I'm like, wow, that was a complete wasted dumb feature. Cool.
I don't know. Ever since high definition came out, just like TV makers are just trying to come up with the next big thing, and I don't. And
yeah, because they got a big sales boom from the HD move. Like that's what happened.
Yeah, like think about this, Bronson. Because now everyone has an HD TV, they're trying to come up with new ones. Think about it. How about a 4K curved TV?
OLED.
Yeah, OLED curved. Like literally, it's physically not a flat. It's literally physically a curved television, and I'm just like, what's this for, sir? And he's like, it's for parties, so you can see it from a different angle, so everyone can see the image regardless of which angle you're looking at. I'm like, okay, what's wrong with walking 2 feet to the right? And why would I want to pay almost twice the price for this one thing?
Well, what they're going to say is that if you have a bunch of people over and stuff like that. But here's my thing. I think it's just like the 3D thing. Like, yeah, all the TVs have 3D now because honestly, it's just software that's doing that. I mean, there's some hardware involved, but it's super cheap to do that. So all the TVs have it. They don't market it anymore, really. Because it's just one of those little thingies. Like, TVs always have that one little thing people... Like, smell-o-vision. Like, smell-o-vision was a thing. You know, like, these TVs, they always have, because here's the thing, TV technology moves very, very slow. You only get a new resolution, like, every, 8 years? 8, 9, 10 years?
Yeah,
so it's like, how long, it gets to that point where it's like, there's got to be something to differentiate your technology. So that's when all this marketing gimmicks and junk comes out.
Tress effects. Ooh.
Well, that's so NVIDIA can sell more graphics cards.
Yeah, that's graphics card, but still, it's like Tress effects. Ooh.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Like once again, I did a lot of TV shopping. I found the one I'm looking at. It's just a matter of getting the funds together, and I'm just like, I just went as basic as possible. It's like, I don't give a shit about smart TVs. I don't give a shit about 3D. I just want I want 120 hertz or better and good color.
The thing about yeah, you mentioned smart TVs. Like, here's the thing. I'm just like, how many devices do I frickin' have that can do Netflix? My 3DS can do Netflix, laptop, phone, TV, PS4, PS3, Xbox 360. Like, if I were to count every device in my house that could play Netflix or Amazon Video, it would be pretty high. And I'm just like, well, my PlayStation's already hooked up to my TV, and it manages, and I can certainly type a hell of a lot faster on a PlayStation controller than with a TV remote. So I'll just use that as my Netflix device.
Yeah, like I already have a Netflix. I have Netflix on 360. Xbox One, just like so many devices that can hook to a television. I'm just like, do I really, really, really need this on my television? Like for someone like my mom, I guess. But even then, like a Roku is like $40, and there's really good devices for that. And so I mean, I don't get who the fuck this is for. I don't understand so many people who the fuck this is for. Like, I was talking to Kevin, who just bought a new Vizio the other day, and he's like, oh yeah, all these smart TV features. I'm like, you own an Xbox One. Why do you give a shit?
My problem is it's like TV. My problem with TV interfaces, or at least the one I've or at least the Bravia I use, is it's just kind of slow. And look at all the junkware. Do I really care about Michael Jackson, the experience, and I can't even delete that off the freaking XMB on the TVs? I'm just like, yep, I'm just gonna use my PS3. Not to mention, my PS3 can be controlled by the remote thanks to HDMI syncing, so that's really awesome. It's really good. Really cool feature. And if you turn on your PS3, your TV turns on automatically. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, my TV, the Sony TVs do that. That's really nice.
Yeah,
it's
Xbox
just HDMI
One does
sync
that with like any TV.
Send a signal, and if you turn off your TV, your system turns off too. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a smart feature I do like. But all this stuff about, Sony's just like trying to shove Curiosity down this same Bravia, and I'm just like, no. I don't care.
Curiosity is done. They completely cut that off. So
it's not PlayStation Music. I had free trials thanks to like freaking, if you did like the PlayStation Home thing, they would give you a free 30 days or something.
Right.
It was basically music streaming like everything else, but yeah.
Cool.
So yeah.
Next news story. Electronic Arts, or EA Sports, has released the first gameplay trailer for Madden NFL 16.
How's it look?
Odell Beckham's going to be the cover athlete. I was kind of bummed out because Antonio Brown was one of the options, and I voted for him. I was like, that'd be freaking awesome. The last Steeler we had was with Troy Polamalu and Larry Fitzgerald. It was like the very first time they had more than one player on the cover. I can't remember what Madden that was.
That was 10. I have that one.
Yeah, that was the last time that we had a Steeler on the cover. I was like, Antonio Brown would be freaking sweet. Let's get him on there. And
we have
he got
never
knocked
had
out
a Bronco
first round.
or Bear on the cover.
What?
We have never had a Bronco on the cover.
Well, no, wasn't Terrell Davis on one of them?
Nope. I'm
thinking of Marshall Faulk. Yeah, that was Marshall Faulk. Yeah. But I was like, oh man, it's so awesome if Antonio Brown got it, but he didn't. It went to Odell Beckham Jr. He's a rookie, but I mean, honestly, like, Odell Beckham's an awesome wide receiver. Don't get me wrong, but that one-handed catch he made has got him so much publicity. It's ridiculous. Take that one-handed catch away, and people will be like, yeah, he's just a super good rookie wide receiver. But because that went, even in the trailer, they reenacted it. Like, in the trailer, you see Odell Beckham do the one-handed catch. It's like, okay. They showed the gameplay trailer. Looks pretty impressive. It looks really, really good. Bronson, did you get a chance to check it out?
No, not yet.
It looks really impressive. They released some screenshots. Definitely looks like a pretty decent jump graphically. So we'll have to check it out and see what it looks like. It'll be at E3 this year. So we'll be able to check out the game there. The the phrase, you know, with Madden usually they have like a phrase that really promotes it.
Playmaker.
So with this one, they're
like
saying "Be the playmaker." That's like their tagline for Madden this year. Is
God.
"Be the playmaker."
Really?
How about make an AI system for the offensive line that isn't fucking awful?
Guys, we tweaked it. It's a new game. We tweaked it. It's proven technology, y'all. Be the playmaker, really?
Yep. Be the playmaker.
Why is it that it's supposed to sound cool, but it just doesn't? Probably because we all sit here being game enthusiasts and we're just like, yeah, you go ahead, you can say all that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much for us
I don't know,
to say
we're
on
getting
this.
it on at E3, but I mean, on the positive side, the gameplay looks really good. It definitely looks like they've improved the physics a lot.
It looks really good, or does it look exactly the same?
No, it looks really good. The graphics have definitely improved, but also like if you just watch it, like the gameplay, the physics look a lot better, and like the actions of players. I mean, they always add like a bunch of moves every year, but this one there's actually some pretty cool stuff in there. So, I mean, I would like to see like the occasion all the time because it doesn't happen in the NFL all the time, but the occasional like crazy one-handed catch, like not the ridiculous stuff in Madden where it's like he like transports 5 yards in the split of a second. Like some like more, I mean, maybe that's what they mean by be the playmaker. Maybe they've added a bunch of like rare but occasional, your guy will make that play. Who knows? Who knows? I just want competition for Madden. I mean, everyone's talking about this Joe Montana football, but that's not going to be a competitor because they can't use the NFL license. So that game's not going to sell that well. Like, from my understanding of it, there's going to be a lot of retired players because then they kind of fall out of the NFL license, so they're able to use them. But it's like that's not going to have the mass appeal of a game where people can play with all their current teams and their favorite players and stuff like that. I mean, it'd be interesting to check out Joe Montana football. Who knows? I mean, maybe it could kind of set the stage, but EA is probably going to buy the license again. So, yeah. Because look at it this way. Joe Montana comes out and it's great. This gives EA another reason to, okay, yeah, we need to secure the license. So.
Money. Yeah.
All about the money. Always is. Okay, moving along. Madden fans, I definitely recommend you check it out. Sony opens a new first-party studio working on PlayStation 4 exclusive games for Project Morpheus. Sony appears to strengthen its worldwide studios team with the opening of a new studio based in the English Northwest. Northwest Studio is the code name for it, and they're working exclusively on original games for Project Morpheus. I'm really curious on Project Morpheus. I mean, Sony has to show, like, we know what it is, but Sony, I'm sure, during their press conference, I think Project Morpheus is supposed to be coming out this year, if not early 2016. They're going to really need to show and really sell this thing during E3 this year and be like, okay, why do we want this? Why do we want this thing on our head? And unfortunately, we didn't have the opportunity to check it out last year. We saw people testing it out, but I want to actually use it and check it out. So hopefully we'll be able to check it out this year at the Sony booth, because I really want to get my hands on it. Because like I've checked out the Oculus, and the Oculus is definitely very impressive, but I'm not sold on the fact of wearing these heavy things on our heads. I'm just not sold on that yet.
Project Morpheus had really long lines at E3 last year, so it's kind of like a CES kind of thing where you're just really, really interested in the tech, but as far as practical use, we don't know yet. That's a big question mark. I don't know, like with virtual reality, I've never tried it before, so I don't really have a good opinion because I've never done it before. I just imagine that you could potentially get really sick depending how much motion and what you do. Like imagine Mirror's Edge 2 on that thing. Just look down and just fall to the floor.
Well, that's what the big thing with VR right now. Like even like Nvidia and AMD, they're pushing VR with their graphics cards and stuff like that.
I mean, 3D TVs don't work, so what's next? Virtual reality. What's next?
But that's the thing
HoloLens.
they're pushing is making it in a way that it does not make you vomit, like in motion sickness and all that stuff. So that's what they're working on. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm not really prone to motion sickness at all, but I know a lot of people.
Yeah, but when your entire vision is, I mean, I guess I'm trying to think of a good analogy, and the only analogy that comes into my head is it's like a dream. Somehow at the back of your head, you're aware that your body's laying completely still in the bed, but at the same time, you're staring at the fact that you're looking over the ledge of potentially a 1,000-foot fall Uncharted style kind of thing.
I mean, a dream I could definitely see that making my stomach turn.
Yeah, a dream. Like, I can feel like a dream has kind of like a similar effect. Once you take it off, you're like, oh, that was fake. It's not like I'm flying 1,000 feet. But in a dream, you're laying on the bed, you're fine, but you're still looking at a 1,000-foot drop, and you're still kind of freaking out.
Freaking out, man.
It's like your subconscious is gonna freak out somehow, even though you know it's fake.
All right, gentlemen, what's next? Curiosity. The next news story.
No thoughts on that? Are you guys? What would you guys like to see of like if is there anything that would interest you guys in Project Morpheus at all?
I kind of want to know how much this thing is going to cost because this VR stuff.
My guess is
doesn't
it's probably
sound
going to cost $200. I guess it's $200.
Yeah, I mean it's like first you have to get the device itself, then you got to hook it up to the system somehow, which I don't know if they're going to do it via Bluetooth or wireless display or whatever. And there's the support for it. Like, yeah. If there's a gazillion things you can try out with it, okay, maybe, many ways of you to get a headache before you go to bed at night, potentially. But if there's something like, if this thing is going to have like Virtual Boy grade levels of software, this is not going to work out.
Software is always kind of what determines what happens with this. So if there's a great game that's only on it, fuck sure, why not? Like that's my big...
As a piece of tech, it's really... really cool. Like
the idea of a first-person movie sounds neat.
Yeah, like Unreal's movie. It's like a Disneyland ride on with the safety of
comfort of your couch. They have those. Those are fucking awesome. So.
Or you could be the adult industry, and I'm not going to go there.
We already know where fucking the adult industry is.
Like HoloLens is not here yet, but you got VR in the meantime, I guess. But anyways, like. I lost my train of thought now. Crap.
And thinking about all the adult stuff.
No, Nick, I'm not. I swear. Yeah.
Why getting so defensive, Anthony?
I don't know what you're talking about. Right, Bronson?
Of course you don't, Anthony.
Yeah.
Man, Bremen's not here, but
Bremen would just say he would straight up say, "Oh, I'm looking forward to it."
Great.
All the hentai all day.
Great.
Interactive hentai all day.
Bremen is just
that's great.
Bremen is just locked into this fucking like helmet that is doing hentai 24/7.
Can you imagine just like sitting? Can you imagine? Us driving down to like Los Angeles or Las Vegas and Bremen sitting in the back seat with a Vita and Project Morpheus on and just making like all those weird gestures and I'm just sitting at the front seat just like no. Just no.
It's like you're packing up to go to E3, he brings his Morpheus. Before you even get in the car, you're like, and you're leaving that here.
But yeah,
like Bremen, how's the artwork coming? Oh, it's coming good.
I'm drawing it through VR, right?
Yeah. Oh, Bremen, you take it off his head, you look at it, you're like, oh god.
But yeah,
all right.
Back to my
original train of thought, guys.
Yeah. Back to
my original. I remember. Speaking of The Witcher 3, John posted something about it on Facebook, and Bremen's response is, "Can't wait for the sex scenes."
Of course, that is Bremen. That's so Bremen.
He must love.
Well, yeah, he'll like it. I mean, right in the beginning, like very, very beginning of the game, you see like his wife or girlfriend's ass, just like all out and exposed.
Great.
So I'm sure Bremen will love it.
Pretty
The
sure
Witcher has a lot
would.
of sex and boobs and everything else, so.
Well,
up,
when
Bremen's
you
alley.
make a high-end game, you need to challenge the M rating. Set the benchmark with how much you can get away with.
Put all the
Grand Theft Auto 4 really did push it, actually. I think. But anyways,
well, hey, in Grand Theft Auto 5, you can experience what it's like to pick up a hooker in first person.
Oh God.
Like literally, right when the console versions came out, that's like the biggest story I heard was watch prostitutes in Grand Theft Auto 5 in first person. And it's just like that sounds like something Bremen would do. He'd be the one to be like, "Oh, I want to upgrade to that version so I can experience it in point of view."
Man. Anyways, pulling this back into the land of sanity, Project Morpheus, I think, is a really awesome piece of tech. Because, like, from a technological standpoint, this thing down the line, maybe 10 or 20 years now, could lead to something pretty awesome. But, you know, I kind of maintain it's like how the Kinect was also a awesome piece of tech, and they tried to sell the Kinect as a gaming device when really one of the things that's worst at is games unless it's dancing. So, you know, it's gonna be really interesting. VR is kind of on its way up. I'm still trying to figure out if there's like a practical way to use it that, you know, is, I guess you could say, safe, doesn't cause migraines or anything like that. And if they can do that, that's gonna be pretty awesome. And then there's the question of software and all that kind of stuff too. So we'll see. Should be very interesting. I'm thinking the lines are probably gonna be long again.
Yeah, hopefully we can just fit it into our meeting. So we'll see what happens.
Does this support DirectX 12 rendering, sir? You're gonna ask that, aren't you? Except it's at Sony, so they're just gonna be like, "What?" No.
Next news story: Bethesda has released a 3 seconds worth of game footage for Doom, followed by the text saying that it's going to be shown more at E3. So Doom is confirmed. There's a new Doom coming out, and we'll see more of it at E3 during Bethesda's press conference. I was looking, Bethesda's press conference is actually the day before the regular press conferences. It's the day that you guys actually come in, so we probably won't be able to make it to that.
That's a real bummer, but fucking man, like,
Can you imagine?
I'm super excited for Doom.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's like we're gonna be like driving through like the middle of California where there's like no cell phone signal, so we're gonna be completely blacked out. I'm just gonna be like, did they announce Elder Scrolls 6? Did they announce Elder Scrolls 6?
Dude, I'm gonna be on Twitter during the entire time of that. Are you fucking kidding? Are you serious? Like, I'm gonna be on fucking Twitter, like, refresh.
Yes, but we're like out in the middle. But we're out in the middle of California where there's like no data signal out there.
Well, it's at like 7 o'clock, so you guys should be. It'll be at like 7 o'clock. So
Pacific.
Well, yeah. So, we'll probably be able to like watch it and go grab
food.
Dinner afterwards or something.
So we're gonna be gouging on food while they're doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's better. That's better. Or we could be stuck in... No, actually, no, it's Sunday. There's no traffic. That's good, too. Well, that's going to be interesting. We're just going to be like, is there an Elder Scrolls 6? Is there an Elder Scrolls 6? Oh, Fallout 4? Now screw that. Is there an Elder Scrolls 6?
I actually have hope in a Fallout 4. Elder Scrolls, I don't give a rat's ass about Elder Scrolls.
As much as I think Skyrim
like, when I was playing The Witcher yesterday, people were like, comparing it to Elder Scrolls, and it's like, I have no interest in Elder Scrolls, but I love The Witcher. I love The Witcher.
So I just watched this Doom 4 E3 teaser, and like, man, that is the prettiest shotgun and demon in a game I've ever seen.
All of that in just 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
I like Doom 1 and 2, and Doom 3 was okay. But, anyway, what's next? I don't know. I have a feeling you guys don't have much to say about Doom.
No, not really. I'll be interested in checking it out. I never really got into Doom, but I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, that's all the news stories I had.
Hopefully they have a badass like Doom 3. That game had a shit ton of problems, but its theme song was badass. So I mean, like, hopefully there's at least that. Like, that's the bar they need to be. Kind of an A game with an amazing soundtrack. I don't know. I'm out. We don't got any.
Yeah, that's the only news I've got. Sweet. We'll probably start having a lot of news coming through as we get closer to E3.
We're on Twitter at The Gamer Access. We're on Facebook, The Gamer Access. We're on YouTube, The Gamer Access, though everything gets posted late, so you should come to the site if you found us on iTunes. If you're not following us on iTunes, Unscripted Access, Gamecraft Gamecast, The Raid, all of them are on iTunes. So go
There's no
to all those places, follow us. Yeah, there are no zero.
Come on, guys.
Aw, man. That's just disappointing.
Come on, guys. Comments and questions.
Yep.
I know you guys are listening. I see the numbers. Come on, guys.
We all see the numbers. We're like, well,
it's like, you may say nothing, but we know you're there.
You
can't hide from us, guys. You can't hide.
Maybe it's like all those Chinese trying to get me to buy a Rolex or a Nike on our comments. Alright, well, that's it, peeps.
Coolios.
Cool.